Hello everyone, it's Richard with Home Tech Video. In this video I'm going to be going over geofencing and explaining how you can set it up on your phones and in Blue Iris, and then give you a reason why you would want to use geofencing. So what is geofencing? Geofencing is a way that you can switch between different profiles within Blue Iris or make different things happen based on your physical location or your phone's physical location. So if I have my geofencing set up on my Android smartphone and I'm at my house, I'm inside my geofence because I have my home set up as my location where my geofence is set up. Once I leave my house, let's say I'm going to work or I'm going, out to Lowe's or something like that, I can have Blue Iris switch to a different profile and have different things happen within, Blue Iris. I can have certain cameras come online, certain cameras stop recording based on whether I'm home or not. If you don't know how to use profiles, or you don't really have an idea of the reason why you'd want to use profiles, I'd recommend to go and check out my other video. I'll have a link in the description below to give you an idea on how to set them up and some reasons why you want to set it up. But basically, geofencing is just a way to allow you to switch between different profiles and have different actions happen based on when you leave a location and when you come home. Now, to activate geofencing on an Android device, it's pretty straightforward and simple. Once you log into your camera screen, you're going to hit on the three dots on the top left and then go into your settings. Once you're in your settings, you're going to scroll down all the way to the bottom, and then by default, where it says geofence radius, this option is going to be turned off. All you need to do is select the drop-down box on geofence radius and then select a distance. Now they recommend in here 50 meters is the optimal distance. I'm going to go ahead and just go with that distance and have that selected. And now it's going to come up with an option on your server location or your current location. If you're at home where your Blue Iris system is currently at, then I would recommend just using your current location. You have to have had set up the server location within Blue Iris, your longitude and latitude, in order for the server location to actually be accurate. If you have that set up or if you have never set that up and you select the server location, by default it's going to be like in Chicago or something like that. So you're always going to be outside your geofence and it's never going to work. So I'd recommend setting this up when you're at your location where your server is. So I'm going to go and just select your current location. And also you have to have your GPS turned on your phone. And when you do this, I would recommend going outside. Don't do this inside your home where your GPS location might be kind of off, because when you set this, it's going to be locked in to wherever your phone thinks you're at. So if you're inside a metal building and you select your current location now, and you just turn on your GPS on your phone, it may think that you're way off on another street somewhere. So I'd recommend going outside, turning on your GPS on your phone, letting it settle for about a minute or two, and then selecting your current location. And then that's all you have to do on your phone. So once that's set, you can go back into your Blue Iris software server, and then you can see that your phone is now set up as a device that you can set up geolocation or geofencing for. All right, so now we have the location set on your phone, and your phone is registered as a device that can be used to activate and deactivate your geolocation and change profiles. So what we need to do in Blue Iris is to go into your options and then click on mobile devices. If done correctly, it should show you here within the geofence if your device is inside or outside. Now I have two devices already configured on my system. I have my wife's phone and my phone. So the phone that I just did it on a second ago is my phone. That's the Android device, and I'm currently inside my geofence, meaning I'm at home. My wife's phone is outside the geofence, meaning she is not at home. To activate this service and to use geofencing, you're going to want to make sure that you have the two boxes over here checked. And then you're going to select and highlight the device that you want to configure. So in this example, I'm going to just use my device. I'm going to disable my wife's geofencing on for this example. And I'm going to select my Android device and then go into the options that I want Blue Iris to do once I get home or once I enter my geofence. So I'm going to click on Enter Geofence. And then in here, this is all of the options that I can do. So for this example, I'm going to use Set Profile. So I'm going to have it change to a certain profile. and I'm going to set this profile to my inside geofence profile. So when I get home, I'm going to have it set to profile 7. And the temp means it's going to stay on this profile for a specific amount of time, and that's set up in your profiles, and by default I believe it's set to 480 minutes. Or you can have it hold, which means it's going to hold onto that profile until something automatically or manually triggers a profile change. And a couple of the other options that you can do in here. So only if all other devices are also inside. So this is nice if you have multiple people, like when I use the example of my wife and my phone. If we're both inside, I can have this selected and say that this is going to trigger. So meaning both devices need to be at home for this profile to activate. Or in the flip side of this, if I go into the exit geofence and I have this one selected on the very top, both devices need to be outside the location for this particular thing to happen. So in this example, I can say outside geofence, and then if I have my wife's phone and my phone both selected for this geofencing to work, both of our phones need to be outside of the area, and both of us need to be not at home for this to activate. So if you have multiple devices, this is something that I would recommend using. And then a couple of other things you can do in here. You can set the traffic signal. So like when you get home, you can make your camera stop recording, or you go to green if you want, or yellow, whatever you want to do. This is probably something that nobody's really going to use, because why would you want your system to stop? You can just disable cameras. The profiles option here is going to be the one that mainly people are going to use. And then you can also set different notification sounds. So once a phone reaches inside the geofence, you can have it set a push notification to your phones and play a certain sound. So like if I get home, it'll say make a noise, or when you leave, you can have it play a different noise, like so it'll send a push notification to your phone letting you know that somebody entered the geofence or exited the geofence. And then lastly, one thing that you can do on here is you can send web request. I did another video on web request showing you some of the things that you can do within Blue Iris, such as if you have a pan tilt zoom camera, you can have a web request sent to that camera to change to a specific preset. So when you get home, you can have a camera set, let's say this for example. When you get home, you can have this thing change to, I don't know, this preset. And then when you leave your house, you can have it change to another preset. So that's what that option is under this right here for web request, if you wanted to use that as a feature. You can also do different web requests within that, which I'm not really going to get into in this video. So that's how geofencing works. Mainly, it's going to be used to switch between different profiles. In this example, like I said, I'm going to be using inside and outside the geofencing. So you can have certain cameras start recording, certain cameras stop. But the possibilities on here are endless. But one thing I will say in a closing note on using geofencing now for about 3 years is that if you have an Android phone and you turn on certain features such as power saving mode most likely sometimes will also disable the GPS on your phone. So when you get home or when you leave your location, it might not always trigger the geofencing. So it is kind of hit or miss with Android phones. Now I have noticed with a iPhone, when you leave or exit, it's pretty spot on. It always knows when you're leaving or exiting. So Android phones are kind of hit or miss on this feature. But if you have an iPhone, as of right now, as of October the 11th, this feature does work pretty well on an iPhone, but not so much on an Android phone unless you're going into applications that check for your locations, such as like if you pull up Google Maps, or you actually open up Blue Iris on your phone. So I give that as just a closing statement, because the geofencing location it's a good feature, but it has some bugs and it has some quirks in it, because it's basically relying on your phone to report your location. And like I said, on Android phones, it's kind of doesn't really always report your location immediately. So Well, I hope this video helps and helps you determine whether or not you want to use geofencing, and gives you some ideas on how to use it and shows you how to set it up. So thank you all for watching this video. Have a great day.